Coming out this week, off screen.
It's the end of the line for Logan.
Ice Cube and Charlie Day have a fist fight.
Brendan Gleeson and Michael Fassbender trespass against us.
The student kicks off a crisis of faith.
The star of The Raid takes a headshot.
The partition of India begins at the Viceroy's house.
And Kelly Reichardt would like you to meet certain women.
All those to come and more, off screen.
This is Off Screen. Off Screen. Off Screen. Off Screen. With the latest film news and reviews, this is Off Screen, the on-screen radio show.
Welcome to Off Screen, I'm Van Connor.
I am Case Allen.
So, Mr. Allen, we've got films to review. We've got film news courtesy of yourself to get through. We've got a box office top 10 to do.
That's always there.
But you know what? There's something slightly more pressing, isn't there, that we need to urgently discuss.
Yeah.
So, and that is La La Land and its Oscar win.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, it was that insane big mix-up. It was huge twist when Suicide Squad won for Best Makeup.
Yeah,
it really was. It was a shocker, wasn't
and
it?
we all knew. It should have been Star Trek Beyond. We all knew this.
I will never forget where I was. I'll never forget the moment.
It's a date that will live in infamy. It really will. But see, I know it's a historical thing, but when I say it, I think of John Voight for some reason. But damn you, Michael Bay.
Yeah.
But okay, so obviously the story goes that we got all the way to Best Picture at the Oscars. Awards were being given. We'll go through the full results, I think, in the podcast extras.
Yeah, I think up until that point, everything was pretty much going as expected. There was a couple of surprises, couple of snubs. There was the Best Actor thing, we'll talk about later.
Yeah, there was a couple of incorrect hidden fences moments. Apparently, it took 3 minutes for the first hidden fences moment to come up.
I didn't even notice it, and I watched the whole show.
It's either 3 or 8 minutes for the first.
Maybe
one.
I'm just sort of just subdued to it now, and I'm just like, of course, that's what you're going to say.
We're all just immune to it now.
Yeah, so it got to the Best Picture right at the very end, and Bonnie and Clyde themselves, Faye Dunaway and Warren Beatty.
They know a thing or two about taking bullets. They do.
Don't they?
They really do.
And have they taken a few now?
They are going to take a lot now, that's for sure.
Absolutely. So yeah, it came to that moment, and Warren Beatty had the envelope, and he opened it, and I mean, he looked a little bit confused. He looked a bit perplexed. Did he not?
Almost like someone had given him his own screenplay for Rules Don't Apply, and he was just like, "What is this?" I'm kidding. I haven't seen.
I love that the man that was in Ishtar has now made Ishtar again. That's great.
Very true. So of course he announced La La Land for best. Sorry,
well, actually, Faye Dunaway did, which is incredible. He looked at the envelope, kind of did sort of like a fake out pause kind of a thing. Everyone thought he was just being crazy old Warren Beatty.
Yep.
And then gave the envelope to Faye Dunaway to read out. So she said La La Land.
Of course. And then this happened amidst the celebratory speeches.
I'm sorry. No. There's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture. Moonlight won it.
Unbelievable, right?
What?
What on earth has happened?
What? It was mad. It was insane.
It was. I mean, I didn't get to watch it live this year. I woke up and I watched it about an hour later on BBC Breakfast.
I sent you a message at, I believe, 5:20 saying, holy F word, we need to talk about what just happened.
Exactly. And here we are. We're talking about it now. So Moonlight did win. Moonlight won Best Picture.
Which is incredible. And,
great, that's fantastic.
And for my money, I mean, my opinion is different to everyone else's.
I think Moonlight's a better film than La La Land, hands down.
I would say that, but just marginally. But to be honest, I've had 3 films that I have kind of loved equally, roundabout: La La Land, Moonlight, and Manchester by the Sea. And for me, they're all awarded.
They all won
pretty big awards. So I was kind of fine with whatever the outcome of that was. And it turned out to be what turns out quite a very close 2-horse race between La La Land and Moonlight.
But of course, as you've already...
I'm happy how
you've already pointed out that's not the real controversy of this year's Academy Awards. The real controversy, of course, is that we now have to go through life using the phrase, the Academy Award-winning Suicide Squad. Really? This is the world we live in.
I just feel like that is the category that it gives credence to really bad films. Do you remember when Norbit won an Oscar?
Did it?
Norbit won an Oscar.
Norbit won an Oscar?
Yeah.
Oh, good God. Well,
Eddie Murphy didn't win an Oscar for a really good performance in Dreamgirls, but Norbit
won an Oscar. Yeah, it's amazing though things that get nominated for things like best hair and makeup, and I mean, didn't WE get nominated for like best costume or something? The Madonna.
Yeah,
Madonna.
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah.
But Wallace Simpson.
That's the one. Yeah. But, oh, well, that's what the lower rung Oscars are for. Did you bet this year, by the way? Did you do the Oscar
I
tracker?
did. I won £5.
Did you? What was your score out of the 24? What did you actually guess?
Well,
right?
I didn't bet on the whole thing.
Oh, did you not do the spreadsheet on the Oscar site that you can multiple choice?
I did that, but that's not what I bet on. So I kind of had two separate things. I put a bet on 6 films, and most of them came in, so I won £5.
Excellent.
But out of a 24 on my own spreadsheet
Score
thing,
sheet, yeah.
I got 17.
I got 9.
That's terrible.
I got 9.
You obviously need to watch more films.
No, you know what it was? I stupidly assumed that the Oscars were just a little bit more dependably racist than they are.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
do you know, I
that shot me in the foot.
Well, I put Denzel down for Best Actor, and I put down La La Land for film. And
I won Mia Viola Davis. I did.
Well, I mean, of course, that was like the 100% lock of the night, wasn't it?
That really was. You know what? She earned that. Good for her.
Yeah, her, Mahershala Ali.
Yeah, I got him as well.
I was so happy. Yeah,
but yeah,
and I'm not going to talk about it now because it doesn't need more kind of airplay. But Casey Affleck, I was thrilled with that.
Good. Well, we'll go through the results in total in the podcast extras, I think, this week. Speaking of which, let's plug the podcast because obviously this week we've got The Student, Trespass Against Us, and Headshot. If you're a fan of The Raid, you want to hear us talk about Headshot, and we haven't got time to do it on the broadcast, the radio edit. So what we're going to do is we're going to put it on the podcast extras. Go on to onscreenfilm.com, go into the off-screen section, go on TuneIn, go on Deezer, go on iTunes, Acast. Just type in off-screen, download the full extended version, and if you go to the end credits, you get the extra content and our moment of cage and more film news and occasionally a song and dance number and Case is a chorus man, you know. But yeah, so we've got a lot to come. You're just not disagreeing with that at all.
I have no reason to.
No reason. No. So let's talk then about what for me is the big heavy hitter of the week. We've got to talk about the fist fight. I mean, there's nothing else this week that could possibly compete with fist fight. Sure.
Oh, obviously not. I mean, nobody with knife hands.
No,
nothing at all.
There's no Freddy Kruegers this week. But let's talk about fist fight then. Let's by Richie Keane, stars Ice Cube, stars Charlie Day, and it's a really basic concept. It is the last day of school. And two of the teachers who don't quite see eye to eye, you've got a sort of, a Weasley one played by Charlie Day, and you've got a very alpha male, taciturn, sort of brutish bully type teacher played by Ice Cube. Due to a misunderstanding which then leads to a loss of temper in front of one of the students, Ice Cube winds up sacked. And his response to this is very simply to challenge Charlie Day to a fight. We have a clip.
Campbell! Parking lot. After school. It's on.
Look, man, there's nothing I could have done, you know? So I'm very sorry you lost your job, but this is over.
One man wins when the other is unconscious. Then and only then is it over.
You really want to have a fist fight after school like we're a couple of students?
I want everybody to see this.
Teachers don't fight.
We're gonna handle our differences like real men.
What differences?
You got a job and I don't.
This is a bad joke.
Snitches get stitches.
Snitches and stitches? What are you talking about?
Right, so here's what no one expected from the marketing campaign for this movie. I mean, first of all, it is good. You are going to laugh. You know, we've been sort of hyping it up for a little while in our own little sort of jokey way that we do.
It's just because of my love for Charlie Day and Ice Cube.
Yeah, that's it. It's a combination of those two.
I could not have been more whiter when I said that. And Mr. Ice Cube.
Mr. Icerick Cube, yes.
Icerick. Mr. Icerick Cubington the third.
Icerick Cubington, which is clever because, 3 is cubed. So, man, that is good. That is, do you know what? We couldn't have planned that if we tried. No. Okay, so this owes more of a debt than you'd expect to the Farrelly brothers of all people. It has a lot of that Farrelly-like morality and momentum to it, a very Farrelly-like tone, but what it lacks is the that Farrelly-like tendency to go as dark-hearted as humanly possible, to go into, well, the toilet humour, really, but just to go unflinchingly into it. This has some of that, but not quite. It is a lot more dark-hearted a film than you'd think, and it kind of has to be because Charlie Day obviously is known for It's Always Sunny. Ice Cube now is becoming more and more known for comedies, and it's a chance for him to get to do more interpersonal sort of a comedy. You've got a great supporting cast, so Gillian Bell, I mean, we were both fans of her, big fan. We've got Tracy Morgan, whom, if you don't like Tracy Morgan at this point, you need to watch more 30 Rock. What got you looking so confused?
Nothing.
Nothing.
I'll talk about it in the film news.
Fair enough. Yeah. And then you've got Kumail Nanjiani as well as the security guard. Dean Norris. It's a great cast. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot of laughs to be had. It has this sort of fusion where it's taken the Farrelly idea, it's taken the Frat Pack idea, it's taken the Apatow idea, and it's mashed them all together. And it actually comes out better than it did. Better than you'd expect. I thought it genuinely had me howling with laughter from end to end. You do know the plot points from the trailer. It is kind of predictable where it's going to go, and you knew that from the trailer, though. I did love it, though. It lived up to the hype for me.
Well, that's good.
But because there's nothing worse than that, especially with R-rated comedies, where you get them and all the good jokes are in the trailer and the better jokes are in the Red Band trailer. And this actually did live up to the hype, and I laughed as much as I wanted to. It didn't surprise me like I hoped it would, but it ticked the boxes.
Do you know what film starring Mr. Cube I watched the other day?
Go on, what is it?
Barbershop 3.
Barbershop 3.
A Fresh Cut.
A Fresh Cut, that was the one, yes, go on.
It was pretty good.
It was alright, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't anything special. It was fine.
I liked it. Cedric the Entertainer was there. He was entertaining. I don't know whether I'd call him the Entertainer. He's just an entertainer.
Cedric, an entertainer.
An entertainer.
I feel like it's more appropriate of a title of a man of his standing.
Yeah, the Entertainer.
A man of his ability.
One and over.
What film was he in recently? Oh, it was Why Him? He's
was he in Why
Bryan
Him?
Cranston's best friend in Why Him.
That's cool. I've still not seen it. I shall at some point.
Yeah, it's going to be on home release soon, I'd imagine.
I would think
Got
so.
to be before Easter. But yeah, so Fist Fight, you going to check it out?
I mean, yeah, at some point in my life, yeah. I don't know if I'm going to rush out and see it in the way that I'm going to rush out and see Logan, but I mean, I will see it. I will let it come to me. I'm not going to go out to it.
Fair dues. Well, we'll leave that there then. We'll come back with the box office top 10 and the aforementioned Mr. Logan.
With the latest film news and reviews. This is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back. So, quick bit of news before the top 10. Anything short?
Yeah, let's do
short,
it. Quick but very, very sad.
Go on.
So, the news broke a few days ago that Bill Paxton passed away.
Oh, man.
And this came out of the blue.
Was this Sunday afternoon?
It was Sunday afternoon, and I saw it on Twitter, but I didn't register it because it was so kind of shocking.
I saw it came from TMZ. I'm like, I'm not believing it till it comes out of Variety.
Yeah.
But,
I think it was on the Empire Twitter feed, and they'd got a list of his best performances, and I was just like, oh, that's cool. We're just talking about Bill Paxton for no reason. For some reason, my brain didn't connect the dots.
And he passed away I didn't even realise he was 61. I thought he was still 10 years away from
that. In his 50s or something.
Yeah. I thought he was 51. Maybe.
You forget how prolific he was.
He was. And the films this guy did. I mean, because
he's just coming out now, kind of how revered he was by his community.
It's very true, isn't it? I didn't realise he'd gotten a start as a set decorator on Roger Corman movies.
Yeah, well, his dad was into art. His dad was an artist as well, and I found out about that listening to the Mark Maron podcast he was on only 2 weeks ago. And I was like, oh, this guy sounds amazing, because I've always been a fan, but never knew that much about his life. And really interesting, really articulate, verbose dude. And
it is weird now when you look back on some of his more known roles that he always favoured something slightly more comedically tinged. Yet he was a
great
really solid, serious actor, though.
Yeah, he could be terrifying.
You look at things like A Simple Plan and One False Move, and
really good director as well. I feel like he could have made more things.
But yeah, there's some great tributes out there. I mean, James Cameron's tribute obviously is the biggie. There's that one out there.
Tom Hanks wrote something for him as well.
Tom Hanks was another.
Apollo 13.
I'm trying to think who it was that he hooked up with James Cameron for a film that never quite took shape.
There's there's two really incredible pictures I'll talk about just really, really quickly. One is, have you heard of someone called Jim Will Paint It?
Yes, I have. Yeah, Jim Will Paint It.
At the request of Patton Oswalt, of all people.
I saw the request, actually.
Yeah. As did I. He wanted a picture of the Terminator, Xenomorph, and a Predator pouring out 40s on the grave of Bill Paxton, because, of course, he was the only actor to be killed by all three.
Exactly, yeah.
So that picture is absolutely incredible. There's another photo that he was actually talking about himself on this podcast.
Yeah.
Of when he was I think he was a 4-year-old boy, he was taken to go see John F. Kennedy give a speech.
Oh, yes,
and he's been held up on his dad's shoulders or something. It's an amazing photo. It's incredible.
I did hear about that, yeah, because I remember thinking, that is so weird.
Yeah, but he was talking about it in the podcast.
I'm going to have to listen to that.
It's really good. It's really
he
worth
passed
listening.
away age 61 owing to complications from surgery. And it is such a shame. And he just finished work on the first season of the Training Day TV series, so that first season at least is sort of wrapped up, and that's going to serve as his epitaph. His final role...
Wasn't he on The Exorcist as well?
I'm not
The
sure about
Exorcist
that
show.
one. I know his final actual role is going to be in The Circle with Tom Hanks.
Tom Hanks, yeah, which in a way, which is kind of full circle in a weird way, isn't it?
Isn't it? A reunion with Mr. Hanks. He's going to be Emma Watson's mum. Yeah, Emma Watson's mum. Emma Watson's dad, sorry. That's a real acting term. Emma Watson's dad in The Circle, which is it out end of April?
It's something like, it's end of April, May, but that actually looks quite interesting.
It does, yeah. But, all right, let's do our due diligence then. Let's start the top 10 for this week.
Number 10.
A Cure for Awesome Wellness.
I love this movie. I really do. It is dark, creepy, sinister, emo-tinged like you wouldn't believe.
So, Dane DeHaan, then.
It's basically Dane DeHaan the movie.
Starring Dane DeHaan.
Starring Dane DeHaan.
In a Dane DeHaan film.
Produced by Dane DeHaan. You wouldn't be surprised. I loved everything about it. I love the setup of it, the design of it, the build of it, just the feel of it. It's creepy and unsettling, but in a glossy, popcorny way. It feels at times like a Hammer movie, and it feels at other times like a little bit of a Cronenberg movie. And I really, really dug it. But at the end of the day, I came away and went, that was basically emo Shutter Island, and I loved it. Big fan, desperately want to see that again.
Number 9.
Moonlight. I mean, La La
The Oscar-winning La La Land.
For 2.5 minutes.
For 2.5 minutes. Yes, the Oscar-winning La La Land, which, do you know what? It's got its plaudits. Do you think it's going to stick around for the box office top 10 for much longer now?
I mean, this could give it some more time when you think about it. Yeah.
I think it's got an extra 6 weeks.
Do you know what? I won't be surprised if Moonlight goes back in.
I won't now, because it's gotten a wider release on the back of its award win. So it's opened in 1,300 more screens in the US. I think it was already pretty wide here.
Which is good, because if the Oscars does anything, sometimes it can help films that need a bigger audience.
It does,
so that's good.
Not that you get better exposure than the Oscars, really.
Not now.
Just ask Warren Beatty. No, so I like La La Land. I don't particularly think Emma Stone should be considered the best actress of the year for that one, but you know what? I'll take it. It's fine. I think maybe more Natalie Portman, but...
I'm going to reserve my ranting until the podcast sections.
Fair enough.
Number 8.
Lion. You've not seen any of the Oscars, and we're going to be referencing it a lot, obviously, in this episode. There is a bit where Jimmy Kimmel is talking to the star, one of the stars of Lion, Sonny Poir.
Yeah, the young boy.
And he's great. He's fantastic.
He's great in the film.
And is he only 6 or 7 or something like that?
Something like that, yeah.
Something like that. There's an amazing bit where Jimmy Kimmel holds him aloft above his head, a la Simba in The Lion King.
I loved Lion. Another one that I really am looking forward to, sort of the post-Oscar time when I can sit and enjoy these films kind of on their own terms as opposed to having to think about them as Oscar fodder. Yeah. And Lion is one I'm very much looking forward to taking in again. It's one that I want to sit down with a cup of tea and a Blu-ray and just enjoy on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, I'm sure that you will.
And it's a great movie. It's got some terrific performances. The story's really gripping. Rooney Mara is a bit surplus to requirements, but to be fair, that would have been the case no matter who you cast in that role. And Dev Patel and Sully Poir are absolutely terrific in it, so fair dues.
Number 7.
Patriots Day. It's a new entry,
which is kind of what you expect of a Peter Berg Boston Marathon movie. I mean, it's got the flag waving, it's got the ending where they whip out the real people and give you the same story again, but this time with the real people. It's got Mark Wahlberg doing his I seen you eating lunch alone, you're a loser routine. And it's got John Goodman and Kevin Bacon and all these sort of, reliable actors being reliably good. And that's fair enough. I came away from it and thought, actually, this is quite a taut, very tightly packed and condensed, politically charged thriller. I mean, it doesn't wear its politics as much on its sleeve as you would expect, but that's probably for the best considering.
Number 6.
The Chinese ponytail film.
The Chinese ponytail film. You know how Clash of the Titans is always going to be remembered as... The Clash of the Titans remake, is always going to be remembered as that film we had to suffer because Hollywood really wanted to cash in on 3D.
And we wanted to make Sam Worthington a thing.
Yeah, exactly. Those two things. The Great Wall is going to be remembered in a similar way, which is, this is that film we had to suffer because Hollywood really, really wanted some Chinese money. And that's a shame because the film does deserve better. And that's a very 90s style fantasy, adventure war movie. And for the most part, it works. You kind of wish you'd seen it 25 years ago starring Kevin Costner and Antonio Banderas. But, I'm never going to call Matt Damon a poor man's Kevin Costner. I mean, I think that's unfair to both.
Oh, rich man's Antonio Banderas.
That's Pedro Pascal.
I was just going to say that, actually, yeah.
Who I want to point out is a Spanish character who at one point slays a dragon through the use of bullfighting techniques. So that actually happened. I'm just going to put that out
I don't know
there.
if that's great or whatever the opposite of great is.
You can't decide, can you? It's weird.
No, I don't know where I stand. I don't know who I am anymore.
But you know what? It's not the Great Wall. It's the passable wall. On which note, we're running out of time. We've got to move on really quickly to Logan, because I don't want to give this one short shrift. So is that right? Short shrift? Yeah, that's true. Okay, Logan, you're looking forward to this.
Yes.
Go as deadpan as possible, please. So this is the final Wolverine appearance. The final Hugh Jackman. By Hugh Jackman, because they're clearly going to recast this for the Young X-Men movies. And I'm sure Taron Egerton is waiting by the phone. Anyway, Taron Egerton, Tom Hardy, whoever, they're waiting by the phone. Meanwhile, Hugh Jackman's hanging it up with this one. This takes place in the year 2029. There's been no New Mutants born for 25 years. Logan lives in El Paso. The world is like a desolate, sandy place. He's eking out a living as an alcoholic, painkiller popping limo driver who's basically saving his money so that he can buy a boat and sail off into the sunset with Professor X so that they can be away from people. And Professor X, whose mind is now deteriorating as some form of Alzheimer's or ALS, is having these psychic episodes as a result of his condition, and the idea is to get him as far away from the human race as possible. Meanwhile, Professor X has a claim of his own, namely that he's communicating with another mutant, i.e. the first one they've encountered in 2.5 decades. Said mutant then crosses paths with Wolverine and Professor X. About the same time, some mercenaries show up, and can you guess what the basic plot here is going to be? It's going to be kind of a let's protect the innocent and go on the run from the Commandos type movie. To which end, here's a clip.
Evening, Mr. Monson. You understand you're trespassing right now, right?
I have an easement with the previous owner of your property.
Previous being the operative word. Who's this?
Just a guy telling you to get back in your nice truck. Go play okey dickhead somewhere else.
Hey, Carl. Looks like Mr. Monson hired some muscle.
Looks that way.
He's a friend of mine.
Friend with a big mouth.
I hear that a lot.
And you probably hear this, too.
More than I'd like.
And you know the drill. I'm gonna count to 3, and you're gonna start walking away.
I got rights to this one.
1.
I have a lawyer now.
2.
3.
Right, there's been a lot of talk, because this has had a huge buzz around it. This has had almost Fury Road level buzz around it in advance. And you can always tell when Fox know that they've got a hit on their hands because they actually allow people to see it in advance.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, hence the case no one saw Independence Day in advance, because we're pretty sure they knew that was awful. And if they didn't, they probably shouldn't be making films, let's be honest. A lot has been said about Logan in relation to Westerns. There is a point in the film at which we are actually shown the movie Shane. They have Shane on the background, yeah. And Professor X makes a comment about how he remembers seeing it in London at this cinema, which I actually checked and did exist once upon a time. So presumably, Patrick Stewart has ad-libbed this. And you think, okay, that's really clever. What it owes more of a debt to than anything, though, is Unforgiven. It seems to follow the same basic archetype as Unforgiven. Even your character tropes seem to be borrowed from Unforgiven. It's going down a similar... because there's a very finite number of series that have actually got to end on their own terms. You look at something like The Dark Knight Rises, for instance. A lot of people contest the ending above all else on that. This, to be honest, the ending's the least effective thing about it. You're not really interested in that. You're interested in the actual film itself. You're interested in the mechanics of this Unforgiven plot, and that's really where it all hangs. It's well shot. James Mangold obviously has a pedigree in things like 3:10 to Yuma, which I didn't appreciate when it first came out, and I've sort of grown more of a fan of.
Yeah, it's worth another look.
It is. And also had Christian Bale, really good performance by Christian Bale. I quite like that. But no, James Mangold, Hugh Jackman, winning combination again. Don't try and place this into any kind of continuity because you'll drive yourself mad doing it. There's a very, very passing reference to the events of the first X-Men. That's really about it. You can take this as a completely standalone movie. If you've never seen a Wolverine movie, you can watch this and not have to worry about an X-Men cameo or anything like that. It's not one of those movies. And as an actual ending to a series, it's pretty good. It has a beginning, middle, and end. It forms the actual end of its own weird little trilogy, as it were. It's got a great score running through it. It's got solid support from Stephen Merchant. Patrick Stewart gets to give you a version of Professor X that you've literally never seen before. It's actually something surprisingly different. The idea that Patrick Stewart has said, I won't do any more now, kind of makes sense, because it's once you've seen this side of Professor X, you think, I don't want to see any more of him, because I feel like that might be ruining what's now kind of the perfect thing. It's got it down. It's got the action beats. It's got the mood. It's got the tone. It's got the intensity. It's got the ferocity. The only negative thing I can say about it, really, is all to do with its villains. Richard E. Grant. And, well, not so much Boyd Holbrook. Boyd Holbrook's pretty good. I've said to you before, I've not seen Narcos. I don't know his work from that. Richard E. Grant is kind of a whimper of a villain. There is another element in there which feels like it belongs more in something like X-Men Origins Wolverine. And it's all kind of held together by this really great performance at the centre of it all by Hugh Jackman and, surprisingly, Daphne Keane, who's a newcomer, who's the young mutant, whom, if you've ever read a comic book specifically to do with Wolverine, you could probably hedge your bets as to who it is she's actually playing, because it's a list of one. So, yeah, if you're a Wolverine fan, brace yourself, you're going to love this. If you're a fan of darker-hearted comic book fare, like you like the 2004 Punisher or the Dark Knight, then go along and see this. It's not quite got the tripping over itself thing that the Dark Knight Rises has. It's not got the goofiness of Spider-Man 3. It really works, and it's really solid.
Well, that's good.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen.
And we're back. So, Mr. Allen, where should we go next?
Let's go see a certain woman. I nearly said a certain woman. Let's go see a certain woman.
A certain women.
I am Case, and I'm good with grammar.
I know words. I know the best words.
I know the best words. Oh, God, I need to have a shower.
After you've quoted Donald Trump. Well.
Anyway,
okay.
Certain Woman, which is a film that I'm sure he will never see.
Probably not, no. You're far more indie-centric than I am in terms of the films you know about. Is this something you
He listens while stroking his beard.
Is this something you were anticipating? Were you aware of this film coming out? Because I was getting confused with
I'd heard of it, but yeah, I am exactly the same. I was getting a little bit confused with that film as well, and I was only more excited for that film because I really like Mike Mills and Annette Bening.
Oh yeah, and didn't have Billy Crudup in it as well.
Yeah, and Billy Crudup is just like a plus point against any film for me. He's great. He is literally a golden god.
There you go. Yes, he is. Yeah.
He is.
Does he have an Oscar to his name? Because then you could say he had a golden god as well.
No, but I can't wait for the day when he does.
I have a golden god.
And then he just jumps off a building.
Yeah, exactly.
Like Almost Famous.
Right, so this is Kelly Reichardt, who brought us Wendy and Lucy, I want to say, about 10 years ago, which is a film I've mostly forgotten, if I'm being really honest. And what you've got is a character study of 3 women. Why they're certain women, I don't know, but they are 3. One is Kristen Stewart, another is Michelle Williams, and another is Laura Dern. So they're not even particularly age relevant to one another, because I think that might be the trick, actually. One's in their 20s, 30s, and mind you, Laura Dern's got to be in her 50s, surely.
Yeah, she looks really good for her age.
She does look good for her age. Although now I creepily see Bruce Dern whenever I look her in the face. But anyway, so what you've got are these 3 character stories which are tenuously connected. They have fleeting, in-passing connections. So, for instance, in the background of a Kristen Stewart scene, you might notice Laura Dern walk past. Michelle Williams' husband is briefly acknowledged to be having an affair with Laura Dern's character. But other than that, the stories don't particularly touch on one another. So what you've got is the story of Kristen Stewart, who is a young lawyer who has to drive 4 hours to teach a night class, who strikes up a friendship with one of her students, which is actually our clip. We've got Michelle Williams, who is building a house with her husband. And they're building their first home. They're living in a tent on the ground, and it's all to do with how much they want some limestone. And they want to buy it from René Aubergenois, who lives in a nearby cabin. And yeah, and then there's Laura Dern, who is trying a case with a client who's played by Jared Harris, and he's kind of he's not quite altogether there, and he's flies off the handle at a moment's notice, and she thinks there's a possibility he might go violent. And so these 3 stories take place. There are tenuous connections. Here's a clip of the Kristen Stewart storyline.
I wanted any job. I was afraid of my loans coming due. didn't know where Belfry was. I guess I was thinking about Belgrade, which is a lot closer. So stupid. And I got a real job. And they're letting me do this because they think it's funny. The pass is icy. It takes me 4 hours to get here. It's gonna take me 4 hours to get back. I have to work in the morning. Did you tell me how you ended up in this class?
I just saw people going in.
Kristen Stewart there with, I think it's Joe Claiborne, I think. Oh, Lily Gladstone, sorry. Right, so that clip kind of sums up the energy of the whole film. That's it. Yeah, let out the yawn case, because that kind of sums up the film perfectly.
That wasn't a critique on that clip.
No, I was
just tired, but it was very well timed.
It was very well timed. If you had yawned literally as the clip ended, you would have kind of summed up the film. It's well acted.
Really good cast, by the looks of it.
It's got a great cast. The problem is, you watch it and you come away and you just think, what the hell is this? Why didn't someone throw a pie? What was it saying about anything? I'm not sure.
Not every film has to have a pie.
That's just no. That's spoken like the indie-centric guy. No, I need the pie. I need the pie moment. And
yeah, shut up, Vincent Gallo.
Not the Jason Biggs pie moment, but I need a pie moment. And the problem with this film is it's so low energy, and it's so docile, and it's so kind of unenthused about being there. You just come away and you think, yes, Michelle Williams can act. I already knew this. And Kristen Stewart can act. Do you know what? I already knew that because she was arguably the best thing about Billy Lynn's halftime walk. And,
she's been really good in a number of things. She's excellent in Adventureland.
By the way, can we just touch on something? We got an angry tweet from someone about the Billy Lynn review. Remember that?
I love angry
about
tweets.
how we just didn't get the point and we were web trash. We clearly hadn't got the point of...
You're trash.
Yeah, which we're web trash, and we hadn't gotten the point of Ang Lee's beautiful film. Can I just point out that as of today, that film has made £28,549 at the British box office. So I'm just going to say, obviously, most of the viewing public kind of missed the point as well. So lot of web trash out there. Lot of web trash, yeah. But neither here nor there.
Sorry, just sticking with that person. This person made this comment online, yeah?
Yeah.
Well, that's funny, isn't it?
I know. Go figure.
Yeah.
Go figure.
Calling us web trash. Anyway, carry on. Carry on.
But let's not take on every one of our haters, because that's a long list. We only get 45 minutes.
Yeah, but this is going to be like the plot of Jay and Silent Bob Straight Back.
Hater of the week goes to... Right, okay, but no, certain women... I've not seen 20th Century Women yet.
I've not seen it yet.
I'm more enticed by the idea of seeing that than I am seeing this again. That's it, really. I mean, it's nicely shot. There's some beautiful compositions in it. But other than that, it really just feels like this flatline affair. You come away thinking, I think I'm ready for lunch now. I'm not really muster up much thought on it. It's kind of forgettable because it's so uninterested in being anything of real note. And it has this feministic art house sensibility to it, but you can't understand what it's trying for. And if it's trying to be this piece of feministic art, what angle is it playing for here? Other than it stars women, I can't quite figure that one out. But I mean, it passes the best doctor. Don't get me wrong, but yeah, still. Right, any news real quickly before we finish the top 10?
I'll give you some news.
Go on, hit me up.
So you love the DC EU or whatever.
The DC, you mean the Oscar-winning DC EU?
Yeah. I mean, strike one for DC. Take that, Marvel.
It's very true.
You can keep your billions of dollars and your almost universal critical love.
Yeah, they got an Oscar for Harley Quinn's hair.
Yeah. But that is mad when you... I mean, like... I know you weren't the biggest fan of the last Star Trek film, but it's fun enough. It's pretty...
No, I like the last Star Trek film. I just didn't think it didn't blow me away like the first two did. But then again, I accept that I'm in the minority on the second one of those two movies. So...
Yeah. Contrarian you. Yeah, but some of the creature design is great on that.
Oh, God, yeah. I like the crab leg head thing that opens. Yeah, that's quite cool.
So, Anyway, that's neither here nor there, because DC have announced there's going to be a Nightwing film.
Oh, yes.
However... It's coming from the director of the Lego Batman movie. Because people love that.
Yeah, do you think they're just hoping, well, he seemed to get the fun? Maybe if we give him Another film.
It's not
he'll get the fun.
It's not even just for fun. That guy obviously loves the ethos and the mythology.
Yeah, there's a reverence to Lego Batman.
Yeah,
definitely.
there really is. I am on board for that.
I am as well.
No, we've obviously not had a Nightwing film before. I think there's something to be said for that character.
I think
Absolutely.
Dark Knight Rises kind of ended with the setup for a Nightwing movie, but
there is. People are saying, "Oh, it should be Joseph Gordon-Levitt." But do you know who I would love to see playing that role?
Go on.
Dev Patel.
Dev Patel. Do you know, I've
Patel.
heard that one, and I've heard Zac Efron. I'd be kind of cool.
Not bad. I'm a big fan of Zephron.
Yeah, Zephron could knock that one out. Although I think he's found his footing as a comedic actor now. I think he should stick with that.
He's got good timing.
He has, yeah.
I just feel like he needs a better vehicle. He just needs a better film.
Should we go real left field and suggest someone for Nightwing?
All right,
Thomas Mann.
Oh, that'd be great.
You want to see that now, don't you?
I'd be up for that. I was obviously going to say Kevon Wallace.
Of course you were. Because we've got to break boundaries. These films have to break boundaries. Otherwise, they would be undeserving of the Oscars that they reap.
I mean, if Kevon Wallace isn't going to break that glass ceiling, who will?
Exactly. On which note, let's finish the top 10 this week.
Number 5.
Hidden Figures.
It's a help in space. It's great. It's likeable. It's unthreatening. It's fun, enjoyable. It's got a point to it all. There's a poignancy. I liked it. The performances are top notch. What's really to dislike in this one? I can't think of anything.
Mahershala Ali should have been on screen for longer.
Can't disagree.
Yeah. Number 4.
I'm thinking I'm back.
John Wick, Chapter DOS.
Chapter DOS. Are you saying this because of the X-Men thing with where it airs at 10:23? Oh, it's Wolverine. Sorry, Logan.
That's Logan.
Yeah, Logan.
Yeah, Logan premiered last night in UK cinemas at 10:23.
Which is, of course, X.
The Roman numeral is X. And it took me a good 5 minutes to be like, that's an odd time. And then I was like, wait a minute.
Hang on. Do you know what X-23 is?
I know who X-Men fans. Of course I do.
Okay, just asking.
I've read a comic before.
Yeah, that's why I was asking, because you were fixating on the X-Men bit. I didn't know if it was because X-Men. Okay, never mind. Okay, John Wick Chapter 2. Have you had the pleasure of this one yet? Did you do this one last weekend?
No, I have a full-time job.
Fair enough. Okay, now, I really like John Wick 2. I don't think it's as mind-blowing as the first one is, but that's a hard nut to crack anyway. It is, however, really, really enjoyable. John Colson saw it this past week, told me he didn't like that the final half hour just seems to be set up for a third movie. To be fair, that is the case. Most of Lawrence Fishburne's time on screen is entirely set up for a trilogy closer, but the action that's there is top-notch, and it's top-notch in that way that you came to love the first one for being. I don't think this quite has the anarchic ferocity that made John Wick so much of a left-field bullet ballet, but this does deliver on what it promises. It promises more, but bigger. And it gives you that. And it promises more, but deeper. And it gives you that. And you think, okay, I can't really fault it for making good on its word, but I can pick fault just slightly with it just not being as great as the first one.
Number 3.
Sing.
You're waiting for that Ed Sheeran thing every week, aren't you? Admit it.
No, I was trying to come up with a pun. I decided not to. I bailed.
Well, you know what? There's nothing particularly imaginative in the puns in the film itself. It's very standard to the template of here's some celebrity voices, here's talking animals, here's an X Factor plot, here's some jokes, songs you know, the end. Now go home.
I came up with a big list of movie-based chocolate and brownie puns earlier.
Yeah.
And I told them to some people at the college. They all thought they were great. If you like, I can go over them in the podcast extras.
I think you should. I think we'll say those.
I will give you one now.
Go on.
An American werewolf in London.
Excellent. Love it. Sold.
Moving on.
Are you trying to open a brownie house? Is that what this is?
Well, I was saying
cinematic brownie house.
Yeah, when I'm like a 60-year-old man, like after I've like hopefully retired from teaching and stuff, that's what I want to do. I want to open up some kind of cool cafe.
Oh, you could have a cocktail called the Booze Brothers.
You should get in on this.
You should get in on this. But yeah, sing. There you go.
Number 2.
Had you forgotten about that? 50 Shades Darker, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, don't get me wrong. I promise you got more.
That's the funniest thing in the whole.
You've got more amusement out of that button than you will have any interest in the film. I mean, the film is funny for all the wrong reasons.
It just completely caught me off guard. That's why.
I mean, the film's Batman and Robin bad. It is just, it's panto bad. It makes the Twilight series look genuinely investable. I mean, at least the leads of that series wanted to be there. These guys do not seem bothered. It's to say it's badly written is kind of an insult to the idea of the very concept of screenwriting. In fact, do you know what? If you told me this was fanfic that had then just been adapted for the screen, I'd believe you. And weirdly, if you trace it back, that's what it is. So I shouldn't be too surprised with the results, yet somehow it's so bad that I kind of am.
Number 1.
Lego Batman.
Kind of hard to beat, isn't it?
It's pretty great.
It's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's so
As I was saying earlier, the guy that directed it, Chris McKay, he's just got a real love for the character.
He does.
And I love that everything is in continuity.
That's it. He loves the material.
Like, sort of the same character.
That's it. His love seems to come with a willingness to poke fun at it, though. He accepts the stuff in there that's just so ridiculous. And they run with it. And they have a lot of fun with it. Things like a bat shark repellent. And some of the goofier villains in 60s Batman lore. And there's a lot of fun to be had. Will Arnett is clearly up to the comedic task. You've got a great supporting cast in there with Zach Galifianakis, Michael Cera, even Mariah Carey puts in a cameo. And it's actually not bad. That's it. I came away really, really loving it, and I want more of this. I know there's a Lego franchise to come, but I'd actually be up for a Lego Batman 2 or Lego Batman Returns. Come on.
Of course. Of course that needs to
Lego
happen.
Batman Returns with a lot of Tim Burton gags in there.
Frankly, this needs to happen.
This clearly needs to happen.
With the latest film news and reviews, this is Offscreen, the on-screen radio show.
And we're back and dancing. Will, you just broken today, haven't you, Case?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'll tell you what, we've got 5 minutes. Do you want to give me some film news real quick before we do the Viceroy's house?
Yeah, I'll give you something that's not really news, and I've literally just seen it, and it's made me laugh a lot.
Okay, go on. What do you got?
So, a cinema in London played one of the best tricks I've ever seen.
I heard. Go on, carry on.
So, I mean, as soon as I say it, you'll be able to tell what it is. So people bought tickets for that particular cinema to go watch Moonlight, and they were pranked by seeing the first 30 seconds of La La Land, which is just...
Hats off to them, because that is a good
genius.
one. Yeah, you know what? I feel like that kind of needs to be done as well. This is the thing. As long as we are prepared to make light of this in the right way, as long as we're prepared to kind of be playful about it, then I think it's all going to be okay.
Absolutely. And Barry Jenkins and Damien Chazelle, I mean, if the cover on Variety is to believe, those guys are just good friends.
I think they're good.
I think they're really just fine with it all.
They both took home a lot of gold.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like, as I said previously, my 3 films that I've enjoyed the most this entire season all got deservedly rewarded.
Do you feel like, though, if you were Barry Jenkins, you couldn't really be that annoyed at Damien Chazelle? You'd be like, you know what? You made Whiplash, man. You go, man.
It's fine.
You have some.
You should have had it for that.
You Russian a dragon, man. That's what they should have done. They should have gone up on stage.
Have you seen the Jim will Paint It picture where Spider-Man is playing drums and J.K. Simmons in J. Jonah Jameson is shouting at Spider-Man?
I love
drums.
that one. You can buy some of those on like t-shirts as well.
I'm going to buy that on a t-shirt.
I would be tempted to buy the Bill Paxton one, actually.
Yeah, that'd be. I would. Yeah, that'd be good. I would do that.
A good one to have. Yeah. But okay, final review of them for radio this week, which is Viceroy's House, which is the latest from Gorinda Chadha, the director of Bend It Like Beckham.
Oh no! I like that film. That's
she
good.
also directed, and I didn't realise this. She also directed Angus Thongs and Perfect Snogging. Remember that?
I do remember.
Yeah, that was actually. I don't know why I've seen that movie so many times. I just have. Can't explain it, but I have.
Does it speak to your lifestyle?
I think it's because I have a huge thing for Karen Taylor, but she plays the mum. But yeah. Anyway, so Viceroy's House, which takes place in 1947 and deals with the partition of India into what will become India and Pakistan. And basically, this is the appointment of Lord Mountbatten as the last and the final Viceroy of India. And, well, this is the thing, because there's a certain history you may know to this story. Do you know much of the partition story?
I know very little about it.
You know very little. Okay. I'll try not to spoil it for you.
Almost nothing.
I'll try not to spoil it for you then. He is the final Viceroy. He knows he's going to be. He has to make all the plans that will see this country survive after the British Empire pulls out of India. And the idea is you have warring factions who want to dispute over border arrangements, dispute over religious segregation and things like that. And of course, it all comes to a head with a romantic plot going on in the background, whereby one of the workers of the Viceroy's house, because the entire movie is set within the sort of estate palatial residential house and the small workers' residential commune which is nearby. One of the workers has a love story going on with a girl who also happens to work in the palace. He's played by Manish Dayal from The 100-Foot Journey. Remember that?
Yep.
Weirdly as well, his father in that movie is the father of his love interest in this one. So Ompori appears in this movie.
Oh.
I know. And I just made peace with his passing, and now I'm being reminded that he's gone. But, okay, we have a clip, and this is going to set the tone nicely for what you're about to experience in Viceroy's house.
Here are the riders.
I have a feeling, Pammy, that might be the only hour of the day I ever get to spend with you. Each day is so crammed. 2 poached eggs, tomato, sausages, tea. Lots to do.
Darling, did you know that 92% of the population is illiterate?
Good morning.
And that 1 in 5 babies dies before they're 4 months old?
Edwina, I could not be blessed with a more active, able wife, but sometimes we have to accept what we cannot change.
But we can change a lot, Dickie. We really can. And we absolutely have to. India's problems are not just political, they are social and economic. Almost half the babies born here die before they're 5. That cannot be the legacy the British leave India after 3 centuries. We have enough time to improve the infrastructure so that when we leave...
That is not why we're here.
Yes.
You'll wear yourself out.
I mean, I'll wear you out.
I do say, Monty, that 1 in 4 infant mortality rate is just ghastly. But I do declare, I heard this whimsical gag the other day about the rain over in Spain. And particularly its direction of falling, perhaps where it lay.
All right, then, Class Warrior, why didn't you like it?
Why didn't I like it? Okay, so on the one hand, it's upstairs, downstairs, set in the partition, etc. in the partition. On the other hand, it's let's cash in on Downton. On the other hand, it's let's do Downton Does Best Exotic. And then meanwhile, there's this romantic drama which seems to play like it's the love story from Pearl Harbor. You've got weird moments of borderline surrealistic class comedy, and then this is all set in front of an actually terrifyingly grim and dark political story, which at times they actually start to tell in a dark and gritty way, and you find yourself thinking, God, I wish I'd seen that movie. That would have been great. Like, even the mystifying casting of Hugh Bonneville as Lord Mountbatten. Because if you've ever seen an image of Lord Mountbatten, the last person in the... You'd cast Hugh Laurie. Like, I could see Hugh Laurie doing it. Because, there's something kind of macho about Hugh Laurie. Hugh Bonneville...
Why can't you see Hugh Bonneville?
Because he's Hugh Bonneville.
I would say that Hugh Bonneville and Hugh Laurie...
Mm-hmm. I'm just saying, in the Battle of the Hughs... in the Great Hugh War of 2018,
yeah.
I predict Laurie will beat.
Well, then Hugh Edwards from BBC News will just run up and...
Really? Because I think Hugh Grant's going to be sat in the background laughing his ass off at this whole thing.
No, but, Hugh Grant is far too British and amiable to fight.
Sorry, chaps mustn't intervene.
He's just so charmingly affable.
Exactly. The stuff, there are moments in it that you think, okay, cool. The problem is it never quite comes together in a way that anyone really wants it to. And the problem is that every one of those aspects that's got in there seems to work against each other. So you have Hugh Bonneville, who is playing the Downton card. You have Manish Dayal, who is playing the I'm in the doomed love story element. And every performer seems to be playing a different film. Michael Gambon turns up and he's playing the I'm doing the gritty and dark downbeat historical story. And you think, I want to see Gambon's movie. That sounds awesome. The problem is nothing about this film is awesome at all. And then you get to the end of it, and it comes up with the title card, which says, this is what happened, and there's a personal story that relates to the grandmother of Gorinda Chadha, and you think, okay, I get that that's probably what drew you to it, and that's a very touching story, and I can see from the film that you clearly care. But the problem is, the film's a mess, and maybe you should have taken a little bit more care with it, but I mean, it's neither here nor there, because I think we obviously know that it's Film of the Week. I mean,
obviously.
It's obviously.
Actually, isn't La La Land going to be filmed?
Yeah, it's La La Land. Yeah. Okay, we're screwing with you. It's Logan. Logan is the film of the week. So let's just quell that one right
Golf
there.
Golf claps all around.
Sorry, the winner is really Logan. So next week we've got some interesting stuff. Some stuff you're actually going to be looking forward to, because
I look forward to most things. I live quite an optimistic life.
Do you really?
I mean, I don't look like it. I look like I'm dead behind the eyes.
That's most of us, but also don't you work in education?
That's why.
But next week, Elle is upon us. Paul Verhoeven. With Best Actress nominee Isabelle Huppert. We also have your lady Ms. Larson returning.
Oh yeah,
yeah. She's gonna deal with some Kong.
She's gonna deal with some Kong. She's gonna get it on Donkey Kong.
On like Donkey Kong. We also have The Time of Our Lives. We have Dancer. We have The Love Witch. We have Catfight, and of course the movie we've all been chomping at the bit to see: Pierce Brosnan's computer-based domestic thriller IT.
I forgot all about that.
I'm reliably told it's awful. I can't wait.
I generally, for a second, thought that was a dream I had once.
Well, it's next week, so
can't wait.
We got that to look forward to. So we've got all those to come and more next week off screen. In the meanwhile, this has been Kelly Stillbridge for On Screen. I've been Van Connor.
I have been La La Land.
And we'll be back next week.
Just show me the way to get out of here, and I'll be on my way.
You've been listening to Off Screen. For more news and reviews, visit onscreenfilm.com.
Podcast extras then, Mr. Gunner.
So, should we start with the inevitable Oscar chat? Because we have to have it, obviously.
I don't know. I was going to start with my list of chocolate-based movie puns first.
Oh, no.
Let's start off with something sweet.
Way more important. Let's do that.
Okay, so if you're not aware, you are aware because we are friends in real life as well. we do know things about each other's.
This is not just all an act.
Exactly. Yeah. As soon as we finish, I take off headphones and I silently exit the house.
Every time the show ends, it's like your foot touched my chair again.
Just throws coffee over my face.
See that it doesn't happen again.
Anyway, yeah, as you were aware, I am an avid baker. I bake a lot.
Yeah, I have had some of your baked goods.
Absolutely. And today, whilst I was at work, I had made some brownies, and I took them for the guys at work. We all enjoyed them very much.
Excellent.
But then I told them that I've got a list of like movie-based chocolates brownie puns.
Fair enough.
That I decided to come up with one day when I was mega bored.
It's understandable.
I just wanted to make myself laugh. And at some point, I will.
If you can amuse yourself, that's usually a start.
Yeah, you don't need anyone else, do you? Exactly. So, here's a few of my favourites from the list.
Go for it.
Okay.
This is actually a written list on his phone. We should point this out. This list actually exists on his iPhone. This is an actual organised list. Please, I'm sorry, take it away.
I will. Okay.
So, bake it away.
Right, first one. Dial Eminem for murder.
Excellent.
The Last Action Aero.
It's awful.
Thank you. Dairy Poppins. Fudge Dread.
Ooh, I like that one.
Thank you very much.
It's good, yeah.
Mutiny on the Bounty kind of writes itself. 28 Days Latte. Okay. This one I especially like.
Go on.
Lord of the Party Rings.
Oh, man.
Black Forest Gump.
Fair enough.
Children of...
Can I just point out, isn't Black Forest Gump Bubba?
Zing.
That's Black Forest Gump is Bubba, isn't it?
Children of the Cornflakes.
Excellent.
Slumdog Millionaire Shortbread.
Excellent.
Raisin, Arizona.
Oh, do you know what?
Really like that one.
That's your best one.
You think that's the best one?
That's the best one.
Okay, what else we got? I like this one, but it's kind of hard to say. Assault on Precinct 13.
Okay, I'm good with that.
Assault caramel kind of
I'm
thing.
good with that one, yeah.
What else have we got? The Malteser Falcon.
Excellent.
The Matewix. And Rocky Road Balboa.
Oh.
And finally, a Clockwork Orange.
Okay, I feel like that last one was a bit of an obvious one, but
of course, yeah.
They can't all be gems, so...
They can't all... Which one was your favourite?
They can't all be ice gems. Sorry, there we are.
Which was your favourite?
I liked Raisin Arizona. That's
a good one.
That's the best
Raisin
one.
Arizona.
Raisin Arizona's terrific.
Yeah.
But I think you should take pride in that list. That's a good list.
Thank you very much. Hopefully, I'm going to come up with recipes for them all, release some kind of book that, like, I'm going to give to you as a really bad Christmas present one year, and I'll give it to my mum.
Is it like that book? You can have a book printed now of all your tweets, which is just the worst idea.
Do you think someone's going to do that for Trump?
Oh, someone's got to.
Yeah.
I feel like the day Trump leaves office, someone should give him the presidential book of tweets.
And a P45. Or whatever the American equivalent of P45 is.
Or just to hammer the point home, they should buy him a jar of snake oil. So you may continue your shtick elsewhere.
Yeah.
But so speaking of rich people then being cast into the limelight, we have to talk about the Oscars, obviously.
Yeah, so let's have our big detailed Oscar chats.
Okay, so we had 24 categories. We don't need to go through all 24. No one needs to know who won Best Production Design. And
I'm going to tell you.
Or Best Sound Mixing.
La La Land. Sound mixing is actually an interesting one.
Is it?
Sound mixing was won by... I've forgotten the dude's name. Right, I'm going to find it.
I can tell you were impressed by it. You were so impressed.
Shut up, you. Quiet, yous. Hang on, give me a second. It's coming. I
feel like I should pull up my Facebook bet sheet.
I feel like we should have. Right, I'm here. Okay,
go on. Yeah.
So sound mixing,
yeah,
and also film editing. But for this sound mixing, it was won by a guy called Kevin O'Connell for the film Hacksaw Ridge.
Yeah, I was going to say that. He won some weird ones, isn't it? Editing and sound mixing.
But it is worth pointing out about Kevin O'Connell.
Yeah.
This was the 21st time Kevin O'Connell was nominated for an Oscar and his first win.
Really? I feel like, if you've been nominated for an Oscar 21 times, surely there's a point that you stop getting excited.
Yeah, you just like...
You know what I mean?
Oh, this happened again.
Like, I know
Meryl
Streep's had what? Something like 12 nominations?
She's had 20.
She's had 20?
But then again, she's won 3. Yeah. So, like, with this guy, it's just like, it's never going to happen. He's mentally checked out.
I'm trying to think, who's been nominated for a lot of Oscars and won nothing? Bradley Cooper. He's been nominated for a few and
He's
won
been
nothing.
Nominated for 4. What about Peter O'Toole? He's nominated for 8.
And never won?
Never won. He never won.
There you go then. See, that comes a point, though.
He won an honorary, but never won the actual prize.
So I mean, though, if you've been nominated 21 times, at what point do you stop getting excited? When it's the 4th? When it's the 8th? When it's the 10th?
Maybe it's like the equivalent of just like finding a pound. It's just like, oh, ace. And like you've got a really good, your next hour of your life is slightly better.
I feel like he's a guy who every time he hears the phrase, "It's just nice to be nominated," scoffs. 21 nominations. Can you imagine?
Yeah. Okay, let's go through some of the more interesting ones anyway.
Okay, what was that song, by the way? Was it La La Land?
Yeah, it was. It was the expected one. It was City of Stars,
which is what we use for the button. Yeah, we use it for the top 10 button, don't we? Yeah.
Yeah. Which I feel like it's definitely the most well known out of all of them. Is it the best? I don't know because music is a subjective thing.
I bet that one. That was one I actually got right.
I think I bet that one actually. Yes, I did.
I think I bet it on your recommendation, but.
Yeah, I mean, it was the one with most kind of coverage, but then again, this was a year where, like, for the first time in years, the songs were really good.
Yeah, I thought that, actually. Except for that Jim Foley one. Aside from
the Jim Foley one, which was just like...
Why is it
You should watch that performance just to be like, what are you doing, Sting? Why is your foot on that weird box? What are you doing?
Why is that nominated and Zootopia gets nothing? Like, really?
Not just that, Sing Street.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's obviously the big...
Oh my God,
yeah.
Like, that was the biggest omission for the song, really. That was it. But
also the morning song from Sausage Party. I mean, some obvious candidates.
Well, Alan Menken's got enough. He's got enough Oscars. It's all right. But we had Can't Stop the Feeling, which actually kicked off the show.
Yeah,
really well. Yeah.
Oh, good.
It was a good, like, rousing start to the show, and everyone was kind of dancing. It was
felt
good
like
to
this
see.
year's Happy.
It was,
yeah.
It definitely filled
equivalent.
that kind of criteria. Yeah. The performance of How Far I'll Go from Moana was really strong.
Did that have the cast of Hamilton? Was that why the cast of Hamilton performs? I heard that somewhere.
The cast of Hamilton did not perform, but Lin-Manuel Miranda did like an opening prologue rap thing at the start of the song.
Maybe that's why I'm getting confused. Right,
yeah,
okay.
Who is, of course, the creator.
Yes,
Hamilton.
exactly.
But he wrote 8 songs, 7 or 8 songs for Moana, including this one. But that was a really strong performance, apart from when the lady who voices Moana, she got hit in the backside of the head by a flag. Yeah, basically there was like some flag wavers behind her, and one of them accidentally...
Well, it's Trump's America, there's always flag wavers.
But what's on the flag?
Confederate flag wavers.
Yeah, and one of them accidentally hit her on the back of the head.
It's Trump's America, ladies and gentlemen. Trump's
yeah.
America. I'll tell you what did shock me, genuinely shocked me, was the best documentary category.
Yeah,
because,
so this is an interesting one to talk about.
I thought Ava DuVernay's 13th. 13th, is it?
Yep.
I thought Ava DuVernay's 13th. I thought that was the shoo-in. That's the obvious political candidate to win best documentary.
See, I don't think that was an obvious one because you had a category where there was 3 of those.
Well, the other thing was as well, it was a Netflix film. So
so
they had that working against it because Netflix historically hasn't won an Oscar yet. But
and again, I think this is an interesting point we should talk about now. So, right, the film that actually won was a film called O.J. Made in America, which is pretty crazy for two reasons. One, it was a show.
Well, this is the thing.
It was shown as a show, but it was also had a theatrical run, so it could be nominated for a film. And it's also now the longest Oscar winner at 7.5 hours as a result of it being originally a limited run TV show.
Okay, I'll let you finish, then I have a question for you, but go on.
So that was the one that had won. As you said, 13th was a film
by Netflix.
Because
they didn't press show it, and we were always very curious because Ava DuVernay. So.
Exactly, who is incredible.
Yeah.
Really fantastic.
I mean, you'll
filmmaker.
get a bigger name at the moment. She's huge
she
now.
is up there. She is absolutely incredible. And I cannot wait for her next film, A Wrinkle in Time.
Oh, God. Was that the one with Oprah's in that one?
Oprah's in it, Zach Galifianakis.
Yeah.
It's going to be fantastic, Netflix.
Isn't Reese Witherspoon in that as well?
I think that she is.
With a spoon, without a spoon.
Reese Witherspoon, Reese without a spoon. Yeah. So Netflix, they distributed that film. So Netflix have had a pretty bad time when it comes to Oscar films, really, because last year
Amazon have Manchester by the Sea.
And this is my point. Amazon have now become the first kind of streaming platform that have got Oscars to their name.
Well, you know what? As long as one of them's doing it, that's great.
Yeah. But tellingly, over the past couple of days, I don't know if you've noticed, Netflix have been releasing loads of trailers for films.
I found
for
that
original
odd
films.
as well.
So they've just released
Okja.
Yeah. From the director of your favourite film,
Snowpiercer.
Which is incredible.
That film I adore. One of my favourite films ever.
But you're still waiting
still
for a
not
theatrical
got a
release.
UK release. You can't even. I wouldn't mind if they would just shove it on DVD.
That'd be incredible.
Do you know what? Just shove it on DVD in this country. That's fine, as long as it's available in this country. It's not.
It's a great film. But
sorry,
they've just released that. They released the trailer for Bright, which I don't think will be an Oscar film, but it's quite a heavy name. And also,
hey, come on, let's not be cruel.
War Machine as well.
I mean, let's not forget that a Will Smith movie has won an Oscar this year. Okay, let's cool our jets there. Let's not smack talk, Will.
Well, you know, they need to do something to keep Jada Pinkett Smith happy for a year at the Oscars. Because she's...
It's true, isn't it? A year after #Oscar So White, Suicide Squad.
Because I didn't realise racism existed before she made that Facebook Live post. I had no idea. I was living in a world of blissful ignorance.
What's this word? Racism? What's racism? Why does Will Smith and his wife keep talking about racism?
Yeah, I'm really happy she brought that to our attention.
Yeah, none of us knew what racism was before the Pinketts and the Smiths. So, aren't we glad we have the Fresh Prince and his missus in the world? The Fresh Prince and Princess to tell us what racism is. But,
exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But anyway. So this is the thing with the OJ. This is what I want to ask you. So,
go.
I saw OJ Made in America when it first aired. I watched it on ESPN's site because it's part of the 30 for 30 series. But they did a 1 week long series where each episode was played per night. It was 5 nights long and each episode was 2 hours.
Yeah.
Right?
It's pretty intense.
That's 10 hours.
Yeah.
Now, interestingly enough, the documentary is so good that it managed to sustain 10 hours. So,
well, this version is only 7.5.
Well, this is what I'm asking. So, there's a theatrical edit now, which I think is in the 3 to 3.5 hour region, isn't it? And then there's another version that's going on British TV, which is 2 parts. 2 long parts. So there's 3 edits of this thing.
Yeah, because this is a 7.5 theatrical version, because it was in cinemas, because that's the only way that, obviously, it can qualify as a theatrical run, is being in a cinema. For public consumption.
Some smart ass at Netflix Amazon figured that one out, huh?
Yeah, Netflix and out.
Yeah, let's put this Casey Affleck thing in a cinema, and maybe people will like it.
People may enjoy this film.
My mum watched Manchester by the Sea, by the way, based on our recommendation.
Yeah, my wife watched it a couple of days ago.
Did your wife enjoy it?
Yeah, I feel like your mum did not.
No, my mum very much did not. Her response was... It was good acting, but it was really boring. I'm like, it was good acting. Okay, fair enough.
He does acting good.
He does acting good, to the extent that he now has a statue that says on the bottom, Casey Affleck, for acting good.
If I ever won an Oscar, I would want that to be the inscription on the back.
For acting good.
He does acting good. He was acting better than some people, according to some other people.
True. So, best supporting actor and actress then. Who do we have?
Okay, best supporting actress, which we've said previously, was pretty much... This was like the lock.
That was Viola Davis.
This was Viola Davis for Fences.
Which is terrific.
And it's great. I mean, as far as snot acting goes...
Yeah, totally, yeah. I mean,
great. No, she is brilliant.
At least she didn't get nominated for Suicide Squad. I mean, you know, you've got to think of it that way. Because we could have had 2 Suicide Squad wins this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's a real kind of like Sandra Bullock Blindside, all about Steve, Oscars and Razzies.
Exactly, yeah.
Mirror.
Who got best supporting actor was Mahershala Ali.
Mahershala Ali with, I mean, honestly, one of my favourite Oscar speeches ever. It's just like, to the point, it was succinct, it was...
I didn't realise until every newspaper ran the headline the following day, first Muslim to win an Academy Award for acting.
Yes, indeed it is.
Wow.
Which is incredible.
Yeah. The best foreign language film, that was predictable.
That is also his shortened name as well.
What, Mahershala?
Yeah.
I do know that because when he used to star in the 4400, he had his full name on the opening credits. And because it was only on screen for about 3 seconds, he had to try and learn to pronounce it in 3 seconds every week. No one ever managed it.
No one ever managed it.
But,
Jimmy Kimmel received some flack online, and this really annoyed me, for just making like a throwaway gag about his name. Basically, Mahershala Ali had a kid like 6 days ago.
Did he?
And, yeah, he did, which is
timing.
Great week for him, isn't it?
Good week.
Incredible.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Kimmel said, "What are you thinking for a name? Something a little simpler," just as like a throwaway gag. And then someone online was just like, "Why is he bringing issue about his name?"
Rackism.
Just. But like Mahershala Ali was just like, It's a gag. It's a gag.
Who was the crazy guy that they let some guy meet somebody else?
This was great.
What was this?
Again, this was a gag that some people thought was a bit rubbish, and I kind of enjoyed it. So basically, in a very Jimmy Kimmel Live kind of style stunt, they'd arranged for, do you know those like open tour bus, like Hollywood to the Star kind of tours?
Yeah, exactly.
They'd arranged one of those to go to the Oscars like mid-telecast, but they didn't tell any of the participants, they didn't tell any of the regular folk on there that they were going to be going to the actual Academy Awards.
That's fair enough, yeah. Can I just point out, just for posterity's sake, that Billy Boyd and Dominic Moynihan got turned away from the Oscars in 2004.
Yeah.
These no-namers, these nobodies, these everyday people have literally been invited. So,
which is insane. We're going to talk about. We were talking about documentary. We were now moving on to
foreign
sporting
language.
Actors. Now it's foreign language. Yeah. So sporting actor Viola Davis, Mahershala Ali, very well deserved.
Yep.
Amazing, incredible. And foreign language film was The Salesman.
Went to the guy who was tipped to win, wasn't allowed briefly to enter the country, was staying away as a form of protest, and then brilliantly, and I'm sorry, but nobody's ever coming up with a better riff than this. Send an astronaut.
Yeah. I would.
I mean,
definitely.
If I had a mate who was an astronaut, I'd be like, I'm not going to go to this thing. Do you want to just go? If you just take a medal and a helmet, go on, and pop down and
and it was an incredible speech.
It was, yeah.
I mean, it's pretty apparent what the speech entailed and who exactly it was about and who it was addressing.
Very true.
Yeah. I've not seen Salesman yet.
No, I haven't either.
Again, this was a year where it was pretty much down to like sort of like a 2-horse race for a lot of categories. So it's between this and Tony Erdmann, and I feel like if that ban hadn't have been inflicted on everyone, I feel like Tony Erdmann would have won.
I just say I've not seen The Salesman. Did you hear about the big screening? There was a big screening the day before, a free screening of The Salesman in the middle of central London.
Yeah.
And you just go and watch it on this big, massive screen. Dominic West was there. Keira Knightley was there.
It's pretty great.
That was really impressive.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Yeah, obviously there is a demand for this.
All of the filmmakers of all 5 of the foreign language films, they had all released a joint statement.
Excellent.
Like about the ban, which is like that never happens.
No,
that's incredible.
That's the weird thing this year, and you noticed it with the La La Land and Moonlight Best Picture debacle, and you notice it with the foreign language thing. There is a sense of unity amongst the film world this last month that I genuinely cannot remember having ever seen before. The film world wasn't this united during the Bush administration's predominant time of the War on Terror. I mean, when there were a lot of outspoken,
this was the most liberal display.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The fact that it's gone very international this year is really impressive.
Nick Kroll said something about it in his monologue for the Independent Spirit Awards.
Okay.
And he said that if this room was any more left-leaning, would be in the Pacific Ocean.
He's not wrong. He definitely wasn't wrong. So, go on. Best actor and actress, then. We've got to talk about these.
Okay, so actress went to Emma Stone, which I think is deserved compared to the other four.
You think over the other four? Have you seen Jackie?
Yes.
Okay, that's fair. Okay, I didn't need to see it, but okay.
I have seen it. Don't do the thing that I do when I disagree and I just say, okay. Like Larry David. Okay.
Pretty nice.
Right, because I took umbrage with what someone said the other day. Somebody compared it to when Jennifer Lawrence won an Oscar for Silver Linings Playbook. Very different performances and rewarded for very different reasons. I feel because of the nature of La La Land, I feel like it has got this unnecessary backlash against it, and the fact that it's a frothy musical kind of thing. I feel like it's when people say, "Oh, that person's doing comedy and we're making them laugh, they're going to win." It's not. Sometimes it is harder to do a musical and to do songs.
You are telling this to the guy that really wanted Robert Downey Jr. to win that Oscar for Tropic Thunder. Yeah,
that's true, but you also want to Robert Downey Jr.
I'm not going to deny that. I'm really not.
Exactly. No, I don't think that it's a performance that she just kind of waltzed away with. Look, people have been saying.
Head is a mark of respect. Okay, can we just acknowledge that?
Yeah, we can. No, I think that it was a very deserved performance. Absolutely.
Yeah. But
more so deserving than Meryl Streep and Florence Foster Jenkins.
But I'll go with that. I don't think in a million years that should win. I've not seen Elle.
Yeah, Elle is the only one that I can't really say to, so I can't really comment on that. But I mean, over everything, my two favourite female performances weren't nominated.
Well, yeah.
I think you can guess at one of them.
Were they both Amy Adams performances?
Well, one of them was Amy Adams.
Okay, who's the other one?
It was Molly Shannon for a film called Other People.
Yes, that's on Netflix, isn't it?
And you should watch it.
I should.
I mean, I would say that that would go for best supporting, if anything.
Jesse Plemons one.
Meth Damon, yes.
Yeah, Meth Damon, Jesse Plemons, yeah.
And Bradley Whitford.
Oh, well, no, you should have led with that. It's got Bradley Whitford.
Bradley Whitford, yeah. It's got Josh Lyman.
I'd be booting up Netflix on my phone as we speak. But no, I do think it's a shame Amy Adams didn't get a nod for Arrival.
She's the new Leo, isn't she? Which
she really
sucks.
is. Did you see?
She deserves better.
There was an image of DiCaprio presenting an Oscar, and behind him was a backplate, and it was loads of like semi-faded images of Oscars. Someone put the caption, "Leonardo DiCaprio stood in front of the ghosts of all the Oscars he never won." Which was that was just brilliant.
That is incredible.
But of course, Casey Affleck won Best Actor.
Yes, Casey Affleck won Best Actor. Yeah, so again, two-horse race, it was him or Denzel. Denzel was obviously not best pleased when he lost. And Casey Affleck actually thanked him in his speech and said that he was one of his inspirations, and Denzel Washington was sort of like just stone-faced, just looking at him.
Casey Affleck manages an impossible feat in that he somehow has managed to really hone and get precise the craft of managing to wear a tuxedo and yet simultaneously look like you've just fallen out of bed. I've never known another actor manage it the way he does.
Yeah, it's the look he's currently pulling off because it's for a film, it's for a role, he said.
You kind of hope. Either that or he's just lazy. But, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with beards. There's nothing wrong with man buns, but nothing wrong with beards.
I don't do combs. I'm a Best Actor winner now. But,
yeah. I kind of don't even want to talk about the controversy.
No, we're not. That's not
about
really
it, because we need to have that segregation between personal life and professional life.
Exactly.
And obviously,
not really.
Those allegations are pretty horrendous, but
not relevant to the film, though. They're
not relevant to the film, and also sometimes it can just become overactive hyperbole online. Sometimes somebody can see something and think, I need to rant about it. I need to tell everyone my opinion right now.
Genuine question.
Generally, no one knows. No one knows apart from the people who are involved. So unfortunately, that's how it has to be.
Genuine question then, relating to Manchester by the Sea.
Yeah.
Did you expect on any level that Michelle Williams might get Best Supporting Actress?
No.
Did you not think at any point? I really thought. I thought
if Viola Davis wasn't in Fences, yeah. but Viola Davis happened. So
that's
no.
the thing. I
not.
betted on good old fashioned, Academy rackism. So I thought there's a chance. I bet on Viola Davis 'cause I thought that's the smart choice. But there's just a part of me that just thought I could really see Michelle Williams taking this. But
I think she was deserving of it. I think Nicole Kidman is.
Yeah, I got to go with that.
I think that's. It was one of those years where I just feel like all the nominations were really strong.
They really were. But so you're happy with Best Picture winner? You're happy that Moonlight won it?
Yeah.
That's
really
fair.
happy. I would have been happy for either of those three. Well, like I've said, I'm especially happy for Moonlight, just because it was
So you've presumably seen the picture then of the front few rows of the audience as the mix-up was happening.
Yeah.
And which might be one of my that's overtaken the Oscar selfie for me as the definitive image of the Oscars.
Yeah.
And the thing I love more than anything is
it's wonderful.
It's now documented for all of time that Busy Phillips was sat on the front row of the Oscars.
Yeah. I love that they're friends in real life.
Well.
It's
because it's all to do with Dawson's Creek, isn't it? But because that's where they're friends from. They go back to Dawson's Creek together.
They've got form.
They've also got like a third BFF in the form of Elizabeth Banks, it seems, as well, if you believe Instagram. But the face that I absolutely loved in that photo belongs to the one and only Mr. Dwayne Johnson. Yes. Whose face in that moment...
I can't even describe it with mere words.
No, I mean, everyone's putting the picture of Ryan Gosling's reaction around, and that's great and everything, but it ain't no DJ. It ain't at all. And Dwayne Johnson's response is hilarious. Did you see his wonderful blue velvet blazer, by the way?
Yeah, and I have to say, I feel like blue was the colour.
Oh, yeah.
There were so many, like, wonderful...
Blue definitely was the warmest colour.
It wasn't it? Batfleck was rocking a blue suit.
Was he?
Damien Chazelle had blue.
He just looks bored
really
on that
great
front row, doesn't he?
Who?
Ben Affleck.
Batfleck.
On the front row, he just kind of looks bored.
Yeah.
Why is he 3 times the size of everyone else there?
Because Batman.
Yeah, because he's Batman.
He put on so much muscle to I don't think you realise. It's just...
Not until you see him next to actual humans. You think,
it's like he just ate Christian Bale, so you forget that he was also Batman. I was happy with
Christians.
You've not seen the full show, but I just want to say I think Jimmy Kimmel was good.
Yeah, well, good.
And for the first time in a long time, I want him to come back. Like,
really,
this is a host that I would want to kind of do a Billy Crystal and be back for like 2 or 3 times.
I really, really want to see John Oliver do it.
Obviously, he was up towards. I think the top of my list was him, Louis C.K., Key and Peele. I want Kate McKinnon at some point. That'd be great.
Kate McKinnon would be good.
Kate McKinnon would be amazing. After seeing the Independent Spirit Awards, Nick Cole and John Mulaney now, I feel like there's loads of fantastic people. But I'd be happy for him to do it for a couple of years.
Can I talk about The Student really, really quickly?
Do you know what, Van? Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Really quickly. The Student. Because I've forgotten a lot about the film, so I'm just going to go into it really quickly. It's a Russian film. And so you'd expect something quite somber and serious. It's actually a very strangely progressive film, and actually I think you would really enjoy this. So it was about a young boy in a high school who one day decides he's going to really, really, specifically follow the tenets of religion. He's now found his faith, as it were, and he is going to practice the doctrine to the letter, regardless of the consequences. What he starts is this sort of this movement through the school where his actions have like a ripple effect. So you've got one teacher who has a crisis of her own philosophical faith as a result of this. You've got other teachers who fall in line and start sort of worshipping him and following him, and students who become like acolytes and even would-be love interests, even though he has no interest in it. It's a fascinating film. It goes on a bit, I've got to be honest. It does go on a bit, and it is a very somber film. But it's got this performance at the centre. I'm trying to pull up IMDb, but it's not coming. It's got this performance at the centre that I think is absolutely just piercing and almost Dane DeHaan-like in its way. It has this, that creepy factor that Dane DeHaan works so well in Chronicle.
Yeah.
Which we all seem to forget now is like the first time any of us remembered who he was.
That's a good point, yeah. It was sort of first
Chronicle
time.
was like 6 years ago, and it's amazing how quickly he's come about in that time. But anyway, so no, really, really interesting film. Goes on a little bit. The main cast member is... Oh, man, it's gone. No, can't find it on the on the IMDb page. There's no pictures. But no, really interesting. Cyril Serebrennikov is your writer-director here, and it has an atmosphere. It has a very sinister tone. You do feel like things are about to jump off at any minute, that it's going to go in a very loud and a very loud and destructive direction. It does, but it doesn't do it in a sort of outward physical way. It's a very introverted film. Fascinating. You of all people, you would really love this. But
that sounds alright.
Yeah, it's ain't.
What do you mean, me of all people?
Because you like a good sinister atmosphere. You'd really enjoy it.
I do. I feel like I kind of perpetrate it.
That's why you'd like Cure for Wellness. You'd really get into that town.
I saw, is someone like in a bath of snakes or eels?
Oh, that's like a marketing image that they have. It's just like for 5 seconds in the film. Eels,
I'm not scared of snakes.
Eels are a predominant thing throughout Cure for Wellness. There's a lot of eels in it.
A lot of eels. Hit you right with eels.
It does for eels what Big Ass Spider did for arachnids. Which is make an arse out of Eric Weiss.
Well, that was a thing.
That was a thing, yeah.
Should we have some news?
Yeah, give me some news. Go on.
Some news. I don't think we spoke about this last week, but it's interesting to talk about. So, did we talk about Step Brothers 2 and Hellboy 3 not being a thing no longer?
I think we talked about Hellboy 3.
Well, Step Brothers 2... Some people wanted that to happen. That is not going to happen at all.
I can honestly say I've never been kept awake at night with the desire to see a Step Brothers 2. It's not something...
No, have I, really. I've just wanted to see those two together as actors, and we're going to see that in the Sherlock Holmes and Watson film.
I wasn't bothered about there being an Anchorman 2, but... because that...
Nor was I. Yeah. Like, that was one of those films I just kind of wanted...
It had an ending, let it be. But, no, Step Brothers 2 doesn't faze me.
No. There's going to be a remake of Terms of Endearment.
Is there?
Yes.
What? Why?
Why? Because Lee Daniels, that's why.
Oh, okay. That makes complete sense.
Okay, so Lee Daniels is circling the Terms of Endearment remake, and I really hope this does not interfere with the Richard Pryor biopic, which he is back on board with.
Is he back on that now? Ooh, I'm really looking forward to that.
Because he kind of left and came back, and he's still on there at the time of writing. But he's going to be either directing or writing, they don't specify. But Oprah Winfrey is also in talks.
Because Lee Daniels, so of course.
They're best friends. That's cool. I'm good with that.
I just feel like Lee Daniels has one of those balls from Pokemon. He has a Pokeball. Oprah, I choose you!
What would be like the next one up from Oprah? Or would that be like, do you know with like Pokemon, there's sort of like 3 iterations of the characters?
Yeah, I think
like,
so.
There's like Pikachu, Raichu, and whatever. I'm not a big fan.
I'm not a Pokemon person.
But like, in like actions, would it be like Viola Davis, then Oprah, then Whoopi Goldberg? Like, just in terms of like
Whoopi ranks lower than Oprah, surely.
Oprah's up there, isn't she?
Oprah's kind of royalty.
Yeah.
Oprah's...
I love that 30 Rock episode where Tina Fey thinks she's sat next to Oprah on a plane.
I love that. That's so good. I feel like Bridesmaids, because that came out around the same time, kind of stole the thunder on that whole plane scene. But speaking of, I've got this bit of news. I don't know if you have this. There's a Jeepers Creepers 3 coming.
Yes.
And it's filming shortly.
Yes.
Right, 2 things I didn't know about this movie. One of the second one is actually the news. But the first one is I didn't realise Gina Phillips from the first movie is back.
Huh. So, I've not seen a film for a long time.
Well, it was a brother and sister. Gina Phillips was the sister. Justin Long was the brother. The brother was sort of taken in the movie, and that's kind of how it ended. And the new movie's going to take place 23 years later and see her as a rich woman and an army of security guards trying to protect her son from the same thing. Adrienne Barbeau has joined this movie. I'm like, wow, I didn't even know Adrienne Barbeau was still acting. I haven't seen her in years. I haven't seen her since she turned up in an episode of Sliders in the late 90s.
Sliders.
Remember that?
Yeah. So, there is going to be a biopic.
Go on.
I'm going to let you lead this a little bit. About Tom Brady.
Ooh.
Yeah. So, sports, foosball, all that stuff. Who is Tom Brady?
Tom Brady.
For those of us who were named the case.
Tom Brady is basically...
I know he is, but yeah.
Okay, he's basically the greatest quarterback who has ever lived. That's the best way of calling it. Basically, whenever anyone talks about how much they love the Patriots, what they're actually saying is they really, really love Tom Brady. There's a prolonged gag about it in Ted 2. if you remember, where they try and steal Tom Brady's semen.
Yes, I do remember.
And there's a gag where the police answer a call. It's like someone's trying to steal Tom Brady again. Yeah. The implication being that it happens that often. Believe me, that's actually not as far-fetched a gag as you think, because I could believe it genuinely happening. He's been at the centre of a few controversies as well. He's regarded as just unrivaled in the game. He almost single-handedly won the Super Bowl recently, a game which wasn't without its own controversies. And the Patriots themselves have had other controversies, like Deflategate, as it's referred
ball,
to.
yes,
Yeah, when they were accused of deflating the ball. But yeah, Tom Brady is held up as... Think of him as the Beckham of NFL. Think of him that way. That's the best way to put it. Because you obviously, you've seen firsthand kind of the British effect of Beckham, the British appeal of Beckham. Tom Brady, same thing for NFL. Right. The movie is being put together by a bunch of the guys who were responsible for Patriots Day.
Really?
Yeah, which I feel like...
Is Mark Wahlberg going to play Tom Brady?
That would be amazing.
Oh my God.
No, Mark Wahlberg is not young or striking enough to play Tom Brady.
We can do wonders with CGI and mocap. No?
Entirely possible.
No. But it'll be Benedict Cumberbatch in mocap because he loves mocap.
Speaking of right, CGI mocap. Right, I've got to talk about we were talking about Netflix films earlier. Scorsese's new one.
Yeah, so
The Irishman.
Oh man, we need to talk about this.
So
we need to talk about this.
Is this 105 million? I heard for this film. Netflix have paid.
Yeah, which is huge. But Netflix they've got that big wallet.
Yeah, 105 million. Most of that money apparently is going on CGI de-aging for their cast.
Yeah,
which it's unofficial because I think De Niro is the only one signed. I think
De Niro is signed and Pacino is signed.
Oh, is Pacino signed?
Yeah, the third one
is Keitel, isn't it?
I was like, yeah, the fourth one. Keitel is signed. Because I feel like Keitel will just do anything now. Like, he's just... I rewatched Little Nicky last night.
Oh, good God.
Yeah. It's mad.
It really is.
I feel like he just loves to work.
Yeah.
Yeah, and also get his wang out in Bad Lieutenant.
That's true. Did you ever see the American remake of Life on Mars, in which he played Gene Hunt?
No.
Oh,
I didn't even know that was a thing.
That was it, yeah. The Americans remade Life on Mars.
Yeah.
Harvey Keitel was Gene Hunt. Jason O'Mara from Terra Nova and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., he was the John Sim character. Michael Imperioli was one of the two cops. It was bizarre.
Yeah.
But also, because it was on American sort of, mainstream, public TV, they couldn't get away with half the stuff that we could on the BBC, for instance. So, it didn't quite work out.
BBC is gritty.
Yeah, BBC's grittier than US mainstream TV.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. The fourth person that they're trying to get for The Irishman is Joe Pesci.
Yes, I did hear that.
Yeah, so at one point he was attached and he was in talks and he was like, yeah, I'm going to do it because Joe Pesci is pretty notorious.
He's 70 now, Joe Pesci.
He is, yeah, but basically he will only do a project if he wants to do a project.
Yeah.
And people ask him all the time to do things. And
you know what?
He doesn't need to work.
Yeah, I've seen 8 heads in a duffel bag. I wouldn't force him to work if he doesn't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah, because no one ever needs another 8 heads in a duffel bag.
No, but this is an opportunity for him to work with Martin Scorsese and Robert De Niro again. And Al Pacino, which is...
And Keitel, that is a hell of a cast. And you put them all together.
And that story... Like, I just feel like only those people could tell that story.
So it's called The Irishman.
Yeah.
And it's based on a true story of a hitman, a sort of family man who's also a hitman, who was he responsible for killing Hoffa? Is he widely believed to have killed Hoffa?
Yeah.
The idea.
He was at least sort of like responsible, partly responsible.
Because Keitel, I know, is going to play Hoffa, and De Niro is going to play the lead, which is, I'm fascinated by this. But, I mean, Martin Scorsese movie on Netflix.
But
just imagine what that means.
I feel like you can see the appeal for both parties.
Oh, God, yeah.
For Martin Scorsese, he gets that budget, which he needs, absolutely. And for Netflix, they get
Scorsese.
And they get such a high caliber project. Man. And I mean, frankly, they need, if they're going to be trying to make waves with films, they need people like this, and they need to be making films like this.
That's the thing. If they're spending 105 million, they'll spend another 100 marketing this thing, and you know what? It'll pay off. Yeah. It really will. But
you can't just be signed up Adam Sandler for 4 film contracts. Like
no, man, enough of the Sand Dog, man. But
do you know what? We've been watching a few of the older ones recently because sometimes it can be all right to do that.
Well, we watched Wedding Singer the other week, didn't we?
We did, and I enjoyed that immensely.
I watched Bulletproof the same week, I think.
Oh, did you really?
Which I love Bulletproof.
Yeah.
Bulletproof is such a good movie.
I watched Mr. Deeds the other day.
That was all right.
Yeah. I like it just because Steve Buscemi plays Crazy Eyes.
Do you know what? In a weird way, I really like Big Daddy. But
I like Big Daddy
it
as
is
well.
the most... At that point, it was the most sort of sedated mainstream one he'd done. And yet, there's still so many... I love Rob Schneider in that movie. Never thought... until that point...
It goes together like lemon tuna fish.
This is bull. Every time, different cards, he wins.
What do you mean you win?
I win. See, Columbo, he pretends to be stupid.
But really...
Smart as tack. See, Rob Schneider can be of use.
He can be okay.
Yeah, he can be of use to a film.
When he's not being either the animal or a hot chick.
It's true. How weird is it, though, watching that movie back now and seeing Jon Stewart in it, though?
Yeah, again, that was another one we watched recently. He looks so different.
Because he was young and brunette.
Yeah, Cassie said, so young, so beautiful.
So young, so beautiful, so unjaded by the world.
Yeah. Also, Leslie Mann as well in that film.
Yeah, Leslie Mann.
Yeah.
Also, I will admit, when that movie came out, Joey Lauren Adams, I had a huge thing for Joey Lauren Adams.
As did I. I was very jealous of Kevin Smith.
Yeah, it's just the voice. But, yeah, I never figured out that whole Kevin Smith thing either. But, yeah, baffling. Just really, really baffling.
I wonder if those guys are still friends. I feel like they had a pretty amicable split.
I get the impression that Kevin Smith isn't actually friends with most of his old friends anymore. Because, for instance, he says he hasn't talked to Affleck in years.
Yeah, he says he's not spoken to Affleck in 3 years.
Something like that.
Something like that. But, I mean,
weird,
they both moved on to things. Yeah. We both found different niches, so it doesn't matter, does it?
I feel like you probably trace that along to certain girlfriend choices over the years.
Well, he did say that Jennifer Garner just didn't like him, so maybe that...
Is that really what it is? I was thinking more like maybe smack talk J-Lo or something.
No, I feel like they got on, but because of course they're in Jersey Girl.
Yeah. But Joe
Adams, she's in Jay and Bob at the end.
Yeah, she appears at the end. Yeah.
So you would think that they probably stayed in touch.
What reviews have we got left? We got Trespass Against Us.
Yeah. So this is Mikhail Fassbender.
Mikhail Fassbender. I feel like if he ever plays a Russian again, we need to do that.
Absolutely. Yeah. And Brendan, father of Domhnall Gleeson.
Exactly. This is the Traveller movie. That's I didn't realise that based on the marketing campaign of the poster. I hadn't seen a trailer, and you see it's a story of three generations of a traveller family. You've got Brendan Gleeson as the grandfather, Michael Fassbender is the father, and you've got kids as well as the grandchildren. And it's basically the story of Michael Fassbender trying to find something else in life. He's tired of, because they live in Gloucestershire, and he's tired of the way that he's sort of regarded in the community, like the idea that as soon as someone hears his accent, for instance, they immediately have certain assumptions of him. At one point, in sort of the second or third act, he tries to buy a dog for his son. And the minute they hear his accent, there is an obviously racist assumption in there. And it's all about this nature versus nurture sort of a discussion. You've got Brendan Gleeson as the grandfather, meanwhile, who's trying to teach what he deems to be a more traditional way of life. And at the same time, Fassbender trying to see if there's something slightly more progressive to be going on. We've got a clip.
First little stretch I'd done. Oh, Chad would have been a bit younger than you, about 5 he was, I think. Yeah. Everyone does a bit of time, sooner or later. Can be God's medicine. Prison can be Tyson. Teaches you what's important. Evening, Kelly.
Ty's got to go to bed now. He's got school tomorrow.
Could I just finish my story?
Don't go filling his head with all this junk, Carl.
We was talking about his dog.
Don't ignore me, Tyson.
Tell you, that school's been rockering in some right wrongs,
Say what you like. He's still going.
All right, then. Listen to your ma.
Don't want to.
I know, no one does, but I say so. Kel, dogs can only play with cats so long before it's the dog that gets scratched.
So there are little pearls of wisdom throughout the film like that. I mean, as I said to you, the most interesting thing about the film really is, as I just pointed out to you during the clip, it's the second time in 2 films now where Michael Fassbender has played Brendan Gleeson's son. Because obviously that happened for the space of about 3 minutes in Assassin's Creed, which... was worse than this, to be fair. This is an infinitely better film than Assassin's Creed was. The problem is, it's a very basic film. It's a very low effort, low concept movie. It's a small familial drama. There's not much scope to it. There's not much grandeur to it. And you do feel like you come away from it feeling like the actors were bigger than the film. You know what I mean? When you've got a small character role, you don't want Stallone to turn up and play. You know, that kind of idea where sometimes stars can kill a film. And not so much Brendan Gleeson, but Fassbender in particular feels like he's way, way bigger in scope than this movie is. And it does feel like it's to the detriment of the film itself. The film itself is actually not bad. But as I say, it is basic. It is very film 4. You do feel like you will have watched, you either have watched it on film 4 or you will at some point. There's not much more to it than that. It's a very televisual production. It's very small scale. Rory Kinnear turns up actually as the local busybody policeman. And rather than give him a character to work with, it feels like he's been painted more as just an annoyance. Fassbender feels too old for the role that he's got, which is as the sort of midway point between the age of being old enough to have a kid and Brendan Gleeson's son. It just feels like he's 10 years too old. I know he's probably not. He's probably like 36 if you look it up, but always going to be younger than you think he is. But it just feels like they need someone slightly younger. Having said that, the performance is good, but it doesn't fit the tone of the film. It feels too big a performance for this film, and the accent doesn't quite work, to be honest. Gleeson, though, he's fine. He's it's the reliable Brendan Gleeson turn. I've never seen Brendan Gleeson be bad in anything, and I don't think he's going to start anytime soon. But I always forget that Brendan Gleeson was in Braveheart.
Yeah, playing a Scottish man.
Playing a Scottishman, which has got to feel... It's got to bring about some internal turmoil.
And his dad, James Cosmo.
Yes, he was, yeah.
Yeah, pretty great casting.
It was great casting. Wow, if only Braveheart won some Oscars. Yeah. But
yeah, Hollywood, why wouldn't you just let Mel in?
Yeah, why don't you let Mel win some awards, man?
Oh, man.
Did it win Best Picture, Braveheart?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it did. It won Best Director, didn't it?
Yeah, it did.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, that was another one. That was
95. I think 95, 96.
I think it came out 95.
The film was 95, one at the beginning of 96. Yeah.
It was up against Apollo 13, which was kind of like that was the one was predicted to win because that won the PGA and the DJ and the SAG.
And the other day, I was watching Scorpion the other day. And had to explain that because they were on the Vomit Comet, they were a plane that does the anti-grav thing, and had to explain that that's how they filmed Apollo 13 on that plane. They just took it up, took it down. They did multiple trips per day. The actors actually filmed that in zero gravity.
They actually did that.
It is the only film where the anti-gravity is real. The lack of gravity is completely real in that movie. And so that's one of my favourite ever filmmaking documentaries as well as the making of Apollo 13.
I would like to see that.
It's an interesting one. But so, film news.
Film news. Mr. T is going to be on Dancing with the Stars.
What?
Yeah.
Clubber Lang?
The one and only Clubber Lang.
So what? Clubber Lang's going to become Disco Lang?
Disco Lang.
Ted Clubber Lang.
So according to his Twitter, which I love this.
You follow Mr. T on Twitter?
No, he just popped up on like a thing.
Fair enough.
I'm going to start following.
Okay.
Of course, he starts it with, "Hey fool."
As he would. As he totally would.
I will be on Dancing with the Stars. I am honoured to have... And he goes on and talks about his partner. Then he also says, "Between me and you, I really can't dance, but I will do my very best for the children of the two charities that he's going for. But make no mistake about it, fool, I will train and I'll practice real hard."
I feel like Mr. T needs to team up with The Rock.
Oh, that would make me...
needs to happen, doesn't it?
I feel like my heart will become too big for my chest. Like, if that happened, that would just... Because he just seems like such a nice dude.
He kind of does, doesn't he?
And he like loves mums as well. Like he had the whole like PSA in the 80s when he was like...
Respect your mum?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Treat your mama right, I believe it was.
Okay, I got a bit of film news I got to talk about. You know The Sorcerer's Apprentice?
No, never seen it.
No, never seen that one. Which I cannot believe that film wasn't bigger than it was.
It's great.
I love that film.
That should have been a franchise.
It should have been, shouldn't it? It's such a natural fit for a franchise. There's more franchise potential in The Sorcerer's Apprentice than there was in the Pirates of the Caribbean series. So, it's not surprising then that there's a sort of equivalent franchise that's actually now being started up. And it's based on a series of young adult novels. It's called A Darker Shade of Magic. And instead of Nicolas Cage, you're going to have, wait for it, Gerard Butler.
Oh, I have heard about this.
You have heard about this. He's going to play a wizard named Kel with the ability to zip between parallel universes. And the idea is you've got the city of London, and it's an anchor point between 4 parallel universes. So you have grey London, red London, white London, and I forget all the colours. But the idea is that in one reality...
There's a white, there's a grey, there's a black, there's a red.
Yes, there you go. Okay. And the idea is that in one of these universes, it's ours. So, there's no such thing as magic. It's a myth. There's another one where people fight for magic. Fight to control magic. There's another one where magic has destroyed everything. And there's another one where magic is worshipped in a godlike way. And this is the idea. He befriends a local London pickpocket, and they go on an adventure across the parallel universes. This is actually a potential trilogy. This is what's being planned as. Like, okay, Gerard Butler, I could kind of see that, because the idea of a young adult fantasy romp series is not something that Gerard Butler's really ever done, is it?
Not really. No.
He's in one of the Tomb Raiders, but that's for a very different kind of demographic. And I think at one point he's actually in the Tomb Raider. So, there's that. That's a terrible gag. I'm so sorry.
Or Womb Raider.
Or Womb Raider, which I believe is actually the name of the porn parody.
That is not...
I think
I feel like we should have a podcast section where it's just dedicated to porn parodies.
Porn parodies.
Because there's some great titles.
I'm still sticking with The Gaze Runner.
The
Gaze Runner needed to be made. Because all these porn parodies they make of movies are always heterosexual in nature. Or girl on girl. It's never guy on guy. I can't help but think there is an untapped demographic there. So The Gaze Runner, obvious one. Think about it. Because most of the cast is male.
Yeah. Do you know there's one about Hamilton called Hamilton?
Well...
Seriously.
That's awful. Oh, man. Did I tell you, by the way, the Lawnmower Man?
I know it well.
Yeah, you know it well. It's an awful movie.
I know of Job.
You know of Job,
yeah.
Right. It's an awful movie, isn't it? It's one of those. It's got like a cult classic status because of how bad it is. You know that's coming back as a VR experience.
Is it really?
Yeah. The actual company who are doing, I think, like the Avatar VR game or whatever, are working on a Lawnmower Man VR game. Which just
cool. I feel like that should happen sooner.
That does. I'm just pleading with them now. Please go and get Pierce Brosnan and Jeff Fahey back.
Yeah.
Because let's resurrect Lawnmower Man. Let's polish this turd.
Let's do this thing.
Let's digitally polish this turd. I think there's room to grow there with the Lawnmower Man series. That sequel was awful. You ever see it?
I never saw the sequel. No, but I've heard that it's in like sort of the Fly 2 area.
It plays like Hackers. It's the weirdest thing. Lawnmower Man is, as a kid, fascinated me because it was one of the few examples I could think of a movie where the bad guy actually won. So, bad guy actually got his way in the end. So I can live with that.
Yeah.
But okay, final review.
Oh yeah, we've got more films.
We've got one more film.
One more film.
One more film.
Or should we say that like Vin Diesel? One more film.
One last film.
Because he's got family.
Yeah.
He's got friends. He's got family.
But not according to the poster for F8 now. But
what was the tagline for that? I remember it being pretty bad. What was it?
No, I don't remember now.
I'll look it up. Tell me about Headshot.
Okay, so Headshot. This is going to intrigue the hell out of you. What would you say if I told you that there is a movie starring Iko Uwais, the star of The Raid, that plays like the Bourne Identity in the style of The Raid?
I would say, here is my money. I would like 1 ticket for what you are selling, sir.
Excellent. Congratulations, that film exists. For about half of this film.
No.
Right, okay. So the basic plot is Iko Uwais is found washed up on the beach one day by a fisherman, gunshot wound to the head, no memory whatsoever.
Hence
Headshot. Is nursed back to health by a rather lovely young doctor. And she is then, but they are then, collectively, they are assaulted by what seem to be just assassins from nowhere. She is taken by them, and he sets out to not only get her back, but also solve the mystery of who the hell these people are to begin with. The only problem is, did you ever see Danny the Dog? Do you remember that movie? It was called Unleashed in the UK. It starred Jet Li and Bob Hoskins and Morgan Freeman, and it was set in Scotland.
I don't remember that.
Right, if you've never seen it, genuinely check out either title, Unleashed or Danny the Dog. Watch it. I guarantee you it's the best film you've never seen. It's fantastic. It's also the best film Jet Li ever did, and I mean that on an artistic
I like that somebody's
level.
used that sentence for another film other than Broken Glass. Not Broken Glass, Shattered Glass. Because I feel like that's... Everyone always says that's the best one you've never seen.
Shattered Glass?
Yeah.
I like Shattered Glass. That's the Hayden Christensen journalism movie, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah. Like
Good
the
film.
one good performance he has ever put in.
Yeah.
But, anyway, so check out Danny the Dog. Seriously, you will be thanking me when you've seen that movie. It is great. So, in order to assert himself as the new Jet Li, Iko Uwais has decided to just, throw caution to the wind and just basically do his own version of Unleashed or Danny the Dog. And that's what the second half of the film becomes. The problem with the film is it's nearly 2 hours long. And an inordinate amount of time is spent with that sort of staring into the middle distance thing. You know in an Honest trailer when they do, and stares, and they do a montage of people staring, they're going to have a field day if they ever want to do an Honest trailer for Headshot. Having said that, the film does have some amazing points. It opens with the greatest jailbreak sequence you have ever seen. And I mean, I'm waiting for Furious 8 in the hope that they can somehow outdo this. Because there's got to be at least one jailbreak in Fast and Furious 8, right?
I believe there's a photo already of...
There's got to be one. There's a prison riot at some point.
Yeah. Hobbs is in like a prison jumpsuit.
Well, I mean, I'm now... The benchmark now is can they outdo the jailbreak sequence at the very beginning of Headshot, which is... which is completely without pause and just lasts about 10 minutes. It is brutal, it is bloody, and it's terrific. Iko Uwais, I quite like as a performer. Liked him very much in The Raid. He's got the acting chops, he's got the physical chops, and here's something that's going to amuse the hell out of you. What do we love more than anything, Mr. Allen?
Yvonne Janae Wallace.
That too, actually, yes. We love a good filmmaking name. We love a Fuqua film.
We do love a Fuqua film.
We love a Kinberg narrative.
Kinberg genre.
Kinberg genre. Sorry, we love a Kinberg genre.
What is this one?
Spike Lee joint.
Spike Lee joint is my favourite.
What would you say if I was to tell you that this film is choreographed by the Uwais team? The Uwais team. That is actually a thing.
The Uwais team.
I say that to a man who was formerly of a band called Riker.
That's true.
There is actually a choreographed team in the world called the Uwais team. And that is who is responsible for that.
There is someone whose name on this planet is Bumble Ward.
That really is. Tim Burton's publicist is named Bumble Ward.
That's incredible, though.
Yeah, so the Uwais team. Always remember that.
I really hope there's a home team. And they fight each other.
Well, if Ken Home has a production team, then odds are there's a home team, and if they ever need to stage a fight scene, then the home team and the away team are going to have to team up.
Wait, who is Ken Home?
Ken Home was the chef, wasn't he?
Is that Ken Hom?
Ken Hom. I thought it was Home.
There's Ian Home, obviously.
Okay, there we go. If Ian Home has a production company and he needs a fight scene choreographed, he can call in the away team, and we have the home team and the away team teaming up to form a new team.
I mean, that's an Avengers style.
That is
franchise,
and the poster will be called Home and Away.
The tagline just further each day.
Right, so Headshot, not quite as brilliant as you want it to be. A little too much navel gazing, a little too pondering into the distance, but the dramatic stuff works. The fight scenes are terrific. Iko Uwais genuinely is the next big action star. I really want I want a Raid 3 purely to get his name back out there. I really like the style of it. I think the look of it works, the feel of it works. It's got intensity, it's got ferocity, but it does hang that up all too often to just do some staring. And that's kind of a problem.
We love a good stare.
It is. But it did make me want to watch Danny the Dog again, which I might do tonight now. But I can't believe you've never seen Danny the Dog. You'd love that movie.
I mean, there's like a billion films.
If I told you that
I've only got two eyes.
If I told you that Morgan Freeman has no eyes in it, that he's a blind pianist in Scotland. Come on.
My first question is how did he end up in Scotland? Or is he Scottish?
We obviously got on the wrong plane, didn't he? That's a blind pianist.
Who is he, Harrison Ford?
No, Harrison Ford would fly blind. That's the difference. He'd actually pilot the plane blind.
I feel like he has.
But yeah, this really opens us up to a lawsuit this week, doesn't it?
Yeah, I wouldn't if Harrison Ford is trying to board my plane.
You'd be like, "Where's your family, Harrison?
Yeah,
just tell us now."
Unless he is my president.
Get off my plane. I feel really bad, actually. I'm always really jealous. Calvin did the press con for Force Awakens with Harrison Ford, and I've always been jealous as hell of that. That's the one I really want to do.
Air Force One Awakens.
But Harrison Ford and Carrie Fisher.
Oh, man.
I'm so jealous of that. But yeah, so Headshot, it's all right. There's some stuff going for it. It's let down by Stairs. But
honest trailer voice.
And it did give us the away team. So, I mean, come on. You're not topping away team this week.
No. I'm going to try, but I'm going to fail.
On which note, shall we continue the Oscar theme for this week then and have our moment of Cage?
I feel like it would be rude and disrespectful not to. Here it is, your moment of the Cage.
Oh boy. $3.5 million budget, some 16mm film stock thrown in, and I'm holding one of these. I have got to thank the members of the Academy for this, for including me in this group of super talents, and for helping me blur the line between art and commerce with this award. I know it's not hip to say it, but I just love acting, and I hope that there will be more encouragement for alternative movies where we can experiment and fast forward into the future of acting. Let me thank the awesome, multi-talented Mike Figgis, my incredible, amazing co-star Elizabeth Shue. I am going to share this award with both of you, and the late John O'Brien, whose spirit moved me so much. Tony Digman, Annie Stewart, the producers, Annie Stewart, Stuart Regan, everyone at MGM, UA, and Lumiere. I'd like to thank Ed L'Amato, my colleagues, Jerry Harrington, Jeff Levine, Richard Lovett, and everyone in my family, my gorgeous wife, Patricia. And I just finally want to say, hi, Weston, it's Daddy. I love you. Thank you.